There's a huge day of stakes racing at Harrah's, Philadelphia on Sunday, May the 30th. 13 stakes races are on the card for PA breds and three $100,000 invitationals. We're going to take a look at two of those invitationals, and I brought with me the biggest brain in harness racing, Matt Rose, to discuss them. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing pretty good. I used to think I was the biggest brain in harness racing. I'm starting to have my doubts, but we're starting to come back right now. Start with the Sunday races at Philly, so let's get it going.
We're going to start with the $100,000 Betsy Ross Invitational. It's race number 12 on a 15 race card and also part of a $10,000 guaranteed pick four. We're going to take a look at the lineup for this field, and it's really a stacked group of mares here, led by, I guess, the morning line favorite, JK First Lady, though I think the favorite might be Soho Burning Love.
Yeah, you started by saying, I guess, the morning line favorite. I have no problem with her being 5-2 on the morning line. One of a few 4-year-olds in the race, facing a couple of elders here from a top barn in Nancy Tactor. But like you mentioned, So Burning Love is going to take money. Mock and Hope, the Blue Chip Matchmaker champion. Keep Rockin' A is going to take some play. Racine Bell, very interesting horse that really was not on many people's radar, but people have certainly taken notice in his last few starts. Should be a great race, and certainly there's no short price looming here on anybody, that's for sure, which will make it a good betting affair.
Most of these horses came out of a Mares Open called the Kissin' in the Sand. It's a little mini series at the Meadowlands, and that includes my top pick, JK First Lady, and we're going to take a look at that video. And one of the reasons why I like this horse, and you'll see JK First Lady's the 6, parked the entire way just past the half, is finally going to clear, pretty much well past the half. And you see up on the outside, that's Treacherous Rain challenging first over. And then they get to the stretch, and I think my horse holds in there pretty well considering the trip.
Yeah, considering she was put in play and used aggressive. It was only her second start of the year for this 4-year-old. Figure she's going to get stronger as the season progresses. And yeah, well, she does get swallowed up. You certainly can't take anything away from the effort that she put in. Just a little bit short, like I said, after being used too hard. But you got to figure that certainly tightened her up. And we also have a shorter stretch we're looking at Sunday at Philly in comparison to at the Meadowlands. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to fault anything she did in that race except not win. But what sort of a price are you looking to take on? You mentioned she's a 5-2 morning line favorite. Does she go off around 5-2? Is that an acceptable price for you to take, or do you want something higher than that?
That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for about 5-2. I think that's what she's worth in this field. I think third start back, she should be even better. I don't know how much better she can be than she was in that race because she was pretty huge as far as I was concerned in that race. And I'm kind of interested in why you landed on the 5 here, Keep Rockin' A. And I'm kind of curious why, because to me, it seemed like she should have won that race last week. She didn't. She seems like more of a one-run type, and the 5/8 mile track, I don't know. I left her off my ticket because I didn't think it would suit her.
Well, you know what? I kind of looked the opposite way. I figured the 5/8 track starting from the 5-hole, Brian Sears will have tactical options if he wants to try to float away, get early position, or he might get set up with a decent second over trip from this spot. You got to figure no matter how fast maybe the third quarter goes, whoever's cutting a mile, that an uncovered horse will be progressing and can orchestrate a decent flow. And the thing with this horse, we saw her start out early this year in the Jim King barn. She raced in the Blue Chip Matchmaker. She really no good, beyond no good. She was disappointing. Moved to a new barn, the Nifty Norman barn, and immediately just turned into a new horse. And she showed what she's capable of. And I just like the progression since she's moved to the new barn. And you might have thought she just missed. She should have won maybe last week, but she didn't. But still, it was just as solid as effort and defeat as you're going to see. And I just think she might be overlooked a little bit in this race. She's listed at 5-1 morning line. I think around that price is fair. And I just see her getting set up with a good trip. And like I said, it was all about the barn change a few weeks ago where she surprised everybody and just totally turned her career around. And that's pretty much the angle I'm going with here.
Looking at some of our underneath horses, I see we're pretty similar. Soho Burning Love obviously makes a lot of sense. Won 3 straight. She's really sharp right now from the connections of Sharton. I also have Racine Bell, and so do you. I have a third. You have a fourth. She's just been racing super. I mean, you've seen her race at Yonkers quite a bit. You follow that circuit a little bit. She was awesome there, and she's really proven herself moving over to the big track at the Meadowlands.
Yeah, even though she didn't really break through with a win in her couple of starts at the Meadowlands, you know she's going to be. You got to figure she's going to be blasting off the gate here, and those are going to be the tactics. And as long as either she doesn't get used too hard on the front end or doesn't get shuffled or buried, you figure she's going to be right there, prominently placed throughout. And you know, we saw her escape in that start last week at the Meadowlands and finish with pace. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people. How many people have even heard of this mare? You know, before, let's say, up to a couple of months ago when she was dominating at Yonkers. Like you said, she moved to the big track, and 2 starts, I think she successfully proved herself that she can belong with these. And I think she's got to be given a serious look, considering, even despite the outside post, considering her gate speed and the fact that Jason Bartlett has to get. I'd be shocked if he didn't get her into play here. And it's just a question of, you know, maybe not getting shuffled or buried or jammed in or whatever. And I think she's can definitely hit the ticket here.
Before we move on to the Maxie Lee, I just want to give a little bit of love to the one Treacherous Rain, who's my fourth pick here. Tough trip last week. This horse had a little bit of the 4-year-old blues last year, I think. I wouldn't be surprised if she stepped up. She's been known on occasion to come up with these really big miles. I wouldn't be shocked here. But we're going to move on to the Maxie Lee. It's $100,000. It's race number 13 on the card of 15 races. Post time is 12:40 in case we didn't mention it. And this is another solid field here, obviously led by number 5, Manchego.
You know, what can you say about Manchego? This now 6-year-old mare from the Nancy Tactor barn. Took a well-deserved, I guess you could say, winter holiday. Came back with a couple of qualifiers that were, you know, okay. And then she gets right down to business in the Cutler, and just comes up with a superb mile at pretty generous odds. And it's safe to say she's ready to go after that one start. And yeah, she definitely deserves favoritism here against this group.
Yeah, last time it was out in the Cutler, she was parked every step of the mile. We're going to take a look at the final quarter of that race, and she was just absolutely huge. She's the 9 horse here on the outside, and there was just no quitting her.
I mean, yeah, it's safe to say that trotters can generally take more air, I guess, so to speak, than pacers. But yeah, to be out the mile and to still be digging, and not only get by the horse, you know, on her inside, but then hold off an outside challenge. It shows just she has a nose for the wire. I mean, just to come up with an effort, first start off the bench where generally you would think it would take a race or two to hit top form. I mean, she hit top form in one start. I mean, that's amazing. You know, and to go the trip that she did. I mean, we might be in for quite a treat here throughout the season. You know, if she maintains her form coming off that first race and what we've seen in her in prior seasons. I mean, should be a lot of fun to watch her this year. But she's already 1 for 1 in stakes events. I think she's gonna make it 2 for 2 as a deserving favorite.
There's no doubt she's the horse to beat. I just didn't know if I wanted to take her as the heavy chalk here. I believe she's the world record holder on a 5/8 mile track. Certainly for a trotting mare, without a doubt. You know, I just tried to go a different way with the one Amigo Volo in this race. I know Dexter Dunn chose Manchego. I would have chose Manchego too. But Amigo Volo took that step forward, I felt like last week. Listen, no one was beating Beads in that race. So I don't care who it would have been in against them. Beads was just absolutely spectacular. I don't know. He had his head screwed on straight that night, and you weren't catching him. I felt like Amigo Volo took that step forward. Now maybe we could see a little bit more. I don't know if it's a lock that we're going to see a lot more, but I feel like we could. I feel like the price is going to be decent on this horse. You know, maybe we'll get 4 to 1 or 5 to 1, somewhere in that range. And it seemed like the right play. And another horse I really like here too is Forbidden Trade. You know, we didn't really key in on it in that video, but Forbidden Trade had the outside post. He was way back at the top of the stretch and closed pretty well. In what was his first start of the year, you have to expect he's going to take a step forward too. So to me, there are two horses right there that maybe have a shot, or certainly have a shot at what could be good odds against Manchego.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at Forbidden Trade. I ended up not using him on my ticket. I figured maybe, yeah, he closed well, but maybe the opposite of Manchego. Maybe he needs another start or two to hit his top gear. I went with the outside with Yannick Gingras. That's academic underneath. Figure he's already in what could be considered mid-season form, coming off bunch of solid wins. We saw that win out at Scioto. I can't imagine Yannick Gingras, ducking the gate and finishing, getting away 8th. You got to figure he's going to leave hard or float out or try to at least get a mid-pack seat somewhere, and then either maybe come first up, which I hope is not the case, or pick up a cover trip, or maybe he can hit the front here. But you got to figure he's winging off the gate, and I'm hoping for a smooth trip to complete the exacta with Manchego on top. Majestic Player is another horse that I use on my ticket that I see you didn't, and wow, we're really. I see you have it's academic in the bottom of your ticket, but I see we're kind of different opinions here. Where you have Forbidden Trade on your ticket, Navigo Volo, I don't. But you know what? If we're both in agreement that Manchego, the race goes through her, then it just proves there's a lot of options underneath. And if you don't want to take a short price on the win end, a lot of exotic options here. I couldn't even tell you what maybe a favorite or second choice or exacta would be here, but the fact that we went in different directions means a lot of options here for sure.
Yeah, listen, it's a really good race. Obviously, Manchego is going to be a heavy favorite, but I don't think she's unbeatable in this spot. And just all the races on the card, all 3 invitationals are just spectacular. Even the Commodore Barry that we didn't discuss, that's a really solid race with 2 of the 2 fastest horses of the year, and 147 and 2 with American History and Nicholas Beach. So it's a great card. 15 races, 12:40 post time, $10,000 guaranteed pick 4. Starts in race number 10. We have free harness IPPs up on DRF.com. We'll also have live video and lots more. Check it out. Good luck.